Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kende and this is Open Up with Kenny. If you're new to this channel, we talk about faith, fashion, lifestyle, business, and life in Estonia, the life in Tallinn, the experiences that I've had. So last week I spoke about how to migrate to Estonia via study, frequently asked questions that I've been getting, and today we'll be talking about the documentation and what do you need to apply for study in Estonia. So let's get right into it. Before we go into details, I would like to, tell you about the schools in Tallinn. However, Estonia has 47 states, exactly 47 states. So it's quite big, but at the same time, not big. Okay, so the major happening places in Estonia are like 13 towns and 2 islands. Okay, so the happening places are like 5 places in Estonia, which is Tallinn, Tartu, Panu, Narva, and Kuressaare. I don't know if I pronounce it well, but that Kuressaare is an island and I heard it's really beautiful. It's like high class. So back to the schools, I think we have 10 schools in Estonia generally. We have Estonian Academy of Arts, Estonian Academy of Music and Theatre, Estonian Aviation Academy, Estonian Business School, and so on. They are all on the websites, and the visa you're applying for is called D visa. So I would also like to mention that if you're applying for a degree, you need to have a minimum of 6 credits, and your English has to be minimum of C4. Anything lower, C5, C6, please don't bother applying because you're not going to be taken in. So that being said, let's get to the right documentation. Okay, so the number one thing you will need if you're traveling or if you're applying is a valid travel document, which is your international passport. And on your passport, you need to have at least 6 months validity. That means that you should have, like, for me, I would advise 8 months. But if you're chest carrier, if you do exactly 6 months. But before you do exactly 6 months, you should find out how long it takes for them to, how long it's going to take for you to apply, that's submit your passport, and how long it's going to take for them to actually reply you. So that needs to be put into consideration. That's why I always advise that you do like 8 months, 7 months before your passport expiration. So the second thing to do is also to fill the application form. So if you're applying, you need to fill an application form. After filling the form, the requirements and everything, print out the hard copy. You make sure you sign every page that needs to be signed, and you put a date. That is very important. So after filling your form and printing out your hard copy, you also need to go ahead to pick a date for your temporary residence permit application. So that way it saves you time for instead of waiting to come to Estonia before you now start applying, because there's always like a waiting list and sometimes the dates are not available. You have to probably go to other states like Panu and all of that. So to avoid all that, it's actually good that you book your application date for your TRP submission. Another thing is you need to snap a passport photograph. So, and the size has to be 35 by 45 mm. See, I know that photographers in Nigerians are very crazy. I don't know any other country, but I'm from Nigeria, so I understand. Some of them don't understand how to measure the meter. You have to monitor them. And I also suggest that you get the soft copy of the passport. So, yes, make sure that the size is 35 by 45 mm for your passport photograph. So you need to pay your visa fee, and I think as of now it might change next year, but the visa fee is 100 euro. But all of this information is going to be on the website. You get to know how much you're supposed to pay. I paid 100 euro and it's 100 euro for the visa fee, and then you print out the receipt of your payment to attach to your documentation. So another thing that you would need to put in your documentation is your admission letter. So you need a document indicating the purpose of your journey, which is your admission letter. And that admission letter is also like acceptance letter from the university stating that they're accepting you into their university. So you also print that out and add to your documentation. That is also very important. Another thing you'll need also is health insurance. You need 1 year health insurance policy. So Swiss insurance is acceptable here. I mean, it's the only one that I know that is actually acceptable here. Okay, so you might actually use other insurance like ICO Alliance. I knew people that actually use ICO and alliance, and they still accepted them. But the sad thing is that once you get here, you cannot use it. It's just for documentation. And sometimes, some years back, I heard that insurance is actually something that actually, make them to refuse some people. So to be safe on both sides, it's advisable that you use Swiss, especially when you're coming to Estonia here and you do 1 year. The good thing about using Swiss insurance is that when you use it, even when you fall sick here or you have any health issues, you can go to the hospital and you'll be attended to because you have Swiss insurance. And Swiss insurance is like 200 to 300 euros. Although some people said they got there for 150 thereabout, but I got mine for 2 something. That was last year, and now things are changing. There's inflation everywhere, so just budget like 200 to 300 euros for your Swiss insurance, and it's 1 year. Another thing is that you need to also put your own bank statement, that's 6 months proof of fund, your own personal one. I'm not talking about your sponsor. We are still coming to that. So what I've heard people say, oh, they have sponsor and the sponsor have about 5 million to 6 million in the account, and yet they were refused the visa. Because how could you have a sponsor? Yes, quite all right. And you did not put your own personal bank statements to show that, oh, even if my sponsor is not there, I can actually take care of myself. Do you get? So it's actually advisable that you have your own proof of fund, you have your own income. So it could be very small, it could be 1 million, it could be 2 million, it could be 3 million thereabout, but just something to cooperate with your sponsor's bank statement. So it shows that you also have something, and it has to be like a monthly thing that you've built, not something that you just dump money into the account and then you just go and apply. They need to see the inflow and outflow of the money in your account, and it has to be 6 months up to date. 6 months. Let's say you are going to apply Monday and then today is Friday, you need to print it on Friday so that by Monday, so it just shows like very little, few days away. Although some people say, oh, they can print it like few weeks before, it's fine. If that works for you, fine. But I feel that to be safe, because when you are refused visa, your brain will just start thinking, oh, if I had known, I would have done it. So to avoid if I had known, you have to make sure that you are doing everything right, and then pray. Got everything with prayer. So yes, your own 6 months bank statement has to be there. You have to put it, you have to build your account for 6 months. Okay, so another point, another documentation that you need to take very good care of is your sponsorship letter. So sponsorship letter is a letter that someone gives to you, whether your mother, your father, or your auntie or your uncle gives to you and say, oh, I am going to be responsible for the daily living of this person in your country, and then I am capable of doing this and this and this for the person. That's all. So that person is somebody standing for you, and the person needs to not just stand, because I've seen people that, okay, they're just business owners and then they write a sponsorship letter. Please use letterhead. It's very important. Use letterhead for your letters. It shows a more professional way. So people that, if you're working in a governance organization, maybe Lagos State, make sure you use Lagos State letterhead. If you have a company, you should have a letterhead, right? An authorized company that has a CAC would have a letterhead. Complete, proper, professional, corporate way of writing a letter. Let it be on a letterhead. You should have, either as a business owner or as a civil servant or as a government worker, you should have a tax clearance card. Had it. You should have ID card. You should have ID card. Yes, you need to have your ID card. Something to just show that, okay, this person is actually real and is a bona fide citizen of the country that they say they live in. It gives the counselor or the person that's handling your documents to know that, okay, this person is actually rooted in the country and they are doing the rightful and lawful things. So when you apply, you make sure you are writing a sponsorship letter on a letterhead. You attach your ID card, you attach a tax clearance card, and if it's a business owner, you make sure that there is CAC. If you're a business owner, you own a business, make sure that your business is registered in Nigeria so that you can attach your certificate, that's your CAC, to your document. Especially for business owners, they make that mistake and then they end up refusing the person the visa. Another most important part of your documentation is your sponsorship bank statement. Like, guys, this is like they take note of these things very seriously. And then, so as a sponsor or as a sponsorer, beyond just having money in your account, having 10 million, 4 million, 5 million in your account, they check the inflow of the money. Like, it has to come in frequently, like every month. Even if you are submitting your business accounts, there has to be like a sort of inflow and outflow. Money coming, it should be accounts that you are using, not your savings account that you just dump money. No, it should be an account that you are using. And there's a way you calculate the standard of living as a student. You can times it times 12, and then have like leftover after getting the total amount. Okay, let's say the person is doing like a 2-year course, and the standard of living is 150 per person for student, let's assume. And then, you times it a year is how much. You just have to do that calculation very well, and then make sure that the money is coming and going. There is payments every now and then. So it shows that the account is not just there. Or you did not just intentionally go and dump it in the account. No. And then maybe if you have like 1 million naira in your account, the person has about 5 to 6 to 10 million naira in the account. So it just makes sense. They're not really after the money per se. However, you need to put all these things into consideration. So you make sure that your account is actually in the right way, so that when they see it, they just approve your visa. Another documentation you have to include is evidence of accommodation. They don't want you to come into their country not having a place to stay, looking around. So you need to provide an evidence that, oh, if I come into your country, I have a place to stay. So as they're sending your acceptance letter, there will be a link attached where you can actually fill a form, or it takes you to a place where you can send message to the dormitory coordinator. So the dormitory coordinator would put you on a waiting list to assign a room for you at the dormitory, and then you'll be given a room. So another option is that you can actually just contact anybody that is in the country, and then they can help you get an accommodation. Then the owner of the house will give you a housing contract, which can also serve as evidence of accommodation. Lastly, you can actually stay at the hotel. You can book an hotel for 5 days. Just go to booking.com, although that's quite expensive compared to getting a dormitory or getting accommodation. For the dormitory, you have to pay your deposit, and when you go to the portal, the school portal, it will show paid. So that way you can print it out and attach it to your document. That's for the dormitory. And the other ones, you get housing contracts, and you can get evidence of payment or booking for your hotel, which people also do. So as a fresher, I don't know why I'm using our Nigerian slogan. Anyways, as a fresher, there's a new intake. It's advisable that you go for the room sharing, because most of the single rooms is always pre-booked by the staylights, like the people that are already here, your seniors. So when you come into the system, you can also pre-book for the next month. People always want to move here and there, so you already know how the system works. You can also pre-book for the single room the following month. So just come in for the sharing of room, because that way it's easy for them to actually give you a room, or it's easy for you to quickly get a room. Do you get? The last but not the least is your flight tickets. Guys, you need to book your flight tickets. Once you already have application dates from either of the embassies to submit your document, make sure that you book your tickets. It's always good to book your ticket ahead because it's cheaper, and then attach that to your document as well. It's very important. So I hope this my explanation has in one way been able to help you. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, like, comment. If you have any questions, you can drop it at the comment section. Compliment of the season. So in my next video, I'll be talking about the benefits of having a child in Estonia and things to watch out for. However, I still want to drop video about settling with spouse. So if you want to relocate to Estonia via settling with spouse, or you've been applying and they've been refusing you, I have some tips on how you can actually apply. I'll drop that video subsequently. We have plenty of time to actually onboard ourselves, so I'll probably be sharing that much later. But let's talk about the benefits of having a child first in Estonia, and then I'll see you in my next video. So bye, and thanks for watching.